Good afternoon, everybody. It's Faker here with another episode of Cool Cards and Pack Filler. You know, one of these days, I'm going to have to find another name for this series. Until then, though, we're going to be taking a look at cards that interest me in upcoming Yu-Gi-Oh! Sets, with a focus on low rarity and bulk options. This is the second video that I've made on Alliance Insight, which releases to the TCG May 1st. So if this is something you enjoy, go check that other video out, along with some of the other vids that I've made in this series. In the last video, I highlighted some interesting, generic, non-archetypal cards, and while I've got a few of those today as well, I'll also be going over some new support for Cyber Dragons and the Wights. Let's get into it. Firewing Pegasus, the Crimson Heavenly Horse, is the best looking Hazy Flame support card of all time, and is a level 6 Fire Beast effect monster with 2250 attack, 1800 defense, and a special summon condition. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, it can attack directly this turn. You can only special summon this card in this way once per turn. Additionally, the card has an effect where, when your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, you can, as a quick effect, inflict damage to your opponent equal to 300 times the chain link number of this effect, and if you do, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects activated before this effect in the chain. This effect is usable as a hard once per turn. While the effect is worded a little convolutedly, it's essentially just a burn with some minor destruction protection. The real value in this card lies in its special summon condition. Level 6 is a level that has become increasingly accessible in recent years through cards like the Bestials and Fiendsmith engine, but the aforementioned Hazy Flames still require fire level 6s for their boss monster. And while it would be nice if this card had 200 defense to enable rekindling plays, there's a pretty good reason that it doesn't. Firewing Pegasus, the Crimson Heavenly Horse, is yet another retrain of a classic vanilla monster, this time Firewing Pegasus, with the same stat line and flavor text that reads, "A heavenly stallion soaring through the skies on crimson wings." This card was originally a prize card from the first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament in Japan in 1999, and wouldn't be released in the TCG until 2012's Premium Collection tin. Crazy. No card is safe, and no rock will go overturned in hunting for retrains. The second card we'll take a look at today is yet another retrain of a 1999 Japanese prize card. Serpent Night Dragon, the Wicked Dragon, is a level 7 Dark Dragon effect monster with 2350 attack and 2400 defense. This card has a special summon condition which allows you to, once per turn, tribute one dark monster from your hand or field to special summon this card. Additionally, when this card is destroyed by battle, you can target one monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard, and then special summon this card. While it can miss timing, for some reason there's no once per turn on this effect at all. So you can hypothetically crash this thing into a monster with higher attack and then proceed to full board wipe your opponent. Hilarious. The summon condition allows you to easily put a dark monster in grave from hand or field, and can even work with something silly like Darkest Diablos, Lord of the Lair. This card too is, as previously stated, a retrain of Serpent Night Dragon, originally a prize that was released in the TCG back in 2003's Spell Ruler. This vanilla monster with the same stat line reads, "A dragon created from the soul of a wicked knight," and was famously used by Rex Raptor in the DM anime. A fitting retrain of such a classic card. Moving from Legacy retrains to Legacy support, I'd like to talk about the two pieces of Cyber Dragon support released in this set, Cyber Jormungandr and Cyber Dark Worm. Cyber Yorgi Porgy is a, get this, level 5 light machine effect monster with 1000 attack and 2100 defense, cannot be special summoned or set, and must be special summoned by an effect. If your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card, and then take a Cyber Dragon from your deck and either special summon it or equip it to this card. You're then locked into special summoning machines for the rest of the turn. Additionally, you can return one Cyber Dragon you control to the hand to add a polymerization from deck or grave to hand. Each of these effects is usable once per turn. This card is awesome. While it's obviously a one-card Cyber Dragon Nova, Seeger, or Infinity, let's not forget it's also Infinitrax support. The condition that your opponent must control a monster is in line with many of the Cyber Dragon cards, and while it's unfortunate that it won't really be usable turn 1, I think that Jormungandr is just too explosive to not see play. The second effect to bounce a Cyber Dragon you control to add poly is a bit more situational, but it can allow you to recycle core for use on future turns. While the card isn't named Cyber Dragon, the inability to be normal summoned or set does make it searchable off Cyber Emergency. This card is at minimum a 1-of. Cyber Dark Worm is a level 5 Dark Machine effect monster with 800 attack and 2100 defense whose name becomes Cyber Dragon while on the field or in the grave. If this card is in your hand or grave and you have another Machine Cyber monster on your field or in your grave, you can send a Cyber Dragon monster from your hand or deck to the grave as cost to special summon this card and then add a Cyber spell or trap from grave to hand. This effect is usable once per turn. Wow, what a ridiculous piece of do-everything legacy support. Searchable off of Cyberdark Realm, which is searchable off of Core, which is searchable off everything. This extender even puts Cyber Dragons in grave, including Hertz, which allows you to search any other Cyber Dragon that you want. If you instead choose to search Cyberdark Chimera off Realm, you can Foolish Cyberdark Worm whenever Chimera is sent to grave, at which point you will already have a machine cyber monster in grave already to fulfill its summoning condition. The entire deck becomes this interwoven symphony of Cyberdarks and Cyber Dragons, which I know is something that they wanted to do with the structure deck, but seem to just now be finally accomplishing. Nearly any combination of monsters or support spells in hand does whatever you want. Seriously, net deck a Cydra list and then throw it into the Yugipedia deck editor and then throw up some test hands. It just doesn't brick. A deck famous for pulling off a Power Bond OTK 1 in every 10 duels is now a deck with consistency to match Mathmech. It's crazy. To finish my thoughts on Cydra before moving on, as crazy as it sounds, I think that their big weakness right now is a lack of a boss monster. For an archetype with unbeatable bunguses like Infinity and Cyberdark End Dragon, weirdly, it feels like their end boards just don't do enough. Insane support still, though. Moving from light machines to white people, we have the last two pieces of support that I'd like to cover in today's video, Wight Master and Moisa Wight. Moisa Wight is a level 1 dark zombie effect monster with 300 attack and 200 defense and a bunch of effects. Its name becomes Skull Servant while it's in the grave. Secondly, when this card is normal or special summoned, you can add one Skull Servant or a card that mentions it from deck to hand, but you're locked into special summoning zombies for the remainder of the turn. Additionally, you can conduct another normal summon of a level 4 or lower zombie type monster during your main phase, and both of these abilities are a hard once per turn. This is white privilege in action. I swear that Toons, Ice Barriers, and Wights are allowed to have support cards that say literally anything at this point. I doubt they even check them before putting them to print. This monster is ridiculous, obviously, allowing you to search the entire archetype when summoned in any way, at the cost of an insignificant zombie lock that feels more like a formality than anything else. Back in the day, we used to look at cards like this and say, man, if you gave this to a competitive archetype, they would be nuts, but that's proven to be untrue. Basically, every archetype in the game, even the rogue competitive strategies, have cards that say this exact thing, and oftentimes it doesn't matter. Instead, nowadays, the deciding factor is how much room your deck has to play non-engine, a grading point that Skull Servants continue to fail gloriously at. Every new white guy they print crams the deck even more full, packed to the brim with more whites than a Sabrina Carpenter concert. And don't think I'm forgetting about the extra normal summon. They said, hey, let's pack Salamangreat Circle and double summon into a monster that also furthers the deck's endgame by changing its name. Before I move on, while this isn't a vanilla retrain like some of the others, it's worth noting that this card appears to be a spoofed version of Moisa Knight, the Comet General. I swear that they just Control-F the letters IGHT into the card database and are working their way down the list. This card obviously shares the appearance of the card on which it's based, but it's also worth noting that the additional normal summon could be homage to the original card's effect, which granted you an additional pendulum summon. Pretty neat. The final card we're going to look at today is another crazy piece of Skull Servant support, Wight Master. This laughably searchable continuous spell has two effects. The first is a passive that gives your King of the Skull Servants piercing damage, and the second allows you to, as a hard once per turn, target a Skull Servant or King of Skull Servants in your grave, send a Skull Servant or a card that mentions it from your deck to your grave, and then special the targeted card. Also, it zombie locks you, as though you gave a shit. Finally, our Giga Chad King has the tools necessary to get over his grandest adversary, a single defense position monster. 10 years from now, we'll get another piece of support that turns him into an Armades too, and we'll no longer have to fear Mirror Force. Jokes aside, this card is bonkers. It's searchable Foolish Burial plus Monster Reborn plus Piercing plus your white. 10 out of 10. I'm brewing a Morganite Skull Servant pile deck as we speak that is absolutely diabolical. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoyed this content, have any ideas for future content, or just want to tell me how funny I am. It makes my day. Have a good one, and remember to wash behind your ears.